good morning, and welcome to Vlogmas Day 2. We are still technically in November, so I am not filming all of Vlogmas in December itself because I wanted to be able to do some multi-day vlogs, wanted to be able to do some sit-down videos, so I am pre-filming a little bit so that way me and my editor can get ahead of schedule for Vlogmas, because I would really like to be able to post for all 24 days of Vlogmas. Today, I'm taking you along for a couple of days working in tech. So if you are new to my channel, then hello, welcome. My name is Kaelyn. I am a product manager for a tech company owned by Abdaal, the productivity man on YouTube himself. And we are currently in the process of preparing for the new year. That means preparing to launch a new product. So we've been developing this course and also working on a productivity summit. So we are going to be doing a 2-day, all-day workshop whereby we're going to have a couple of guest speakers, and then Ali is going to give some talks on reflecting on 2024, planning for 2025, and then our VIP members are going to have access to training on AI and productivity. So I've been meeting with Ali every day at around 8:30, going over his ideas and just trying to pull things together. And then I go and work through the logistics throughout my working day. He is currently based in Hong Kong and I'm based in London. So the only time that we really have overlap is first thing in the morning, and so we got to make the most of our time. But I got up and I'm feeling really good. I had a really nice weekend, just got to really decompress and relax and have a nice cozy one. So I'm feeling really well prepared for the week ahead. I've got a little cup of chai. I did not make it properly. You are meant to take the chai mix and steep it in warming milk on the stovetop. But I just used it today with hot water and added a little bit of milk. So it's not quite as rich as it could be, but I just wanted the flavor and wanted something a bit quicker than sitting over the stove for several minutes. But I'm going to be taking you along for a couple of working days in London. So I'm going to also put up a Q&A on my Instagram, and I'll be answering questions about my work in tech, how it is that I transitioned from my history background to a career in product management. For those of you that don't follow me on Instagram, that is where I get most of my engagement and ideas for YouTube. So be sure to hit the follow button over there, and let's go ahead and get into the vlog. I just ended my meeting with Ali. So we were going over the slides for the course, and there's basically 2 takeaways that I need to focus on today. One is adding a bit more structure to the course because now I know what format he wants to do it in. So we're basically going to be doing a live cohort in the new year after the summit and using that as a way to prepare for the launch of the evergreen product of the course. What that means is take the recordings, edit them, because we have an incredible editing team, and then release it as a standalone course that people can access if they don't necessarily want to be in the Productivity Lab community and they want the direct information rather than joining a membership. So I put on Instagram the question for questions that you have about my job, and I got 2 messages specifically that said, what skills do you need for this job? I'll give you a little bit of context about my professional background. I think that that's slightly important. So in addition to having studied history, obviously in undergrad, a master's, and now for my PhD, I have also worked in medical device regulatory research. So I worked in a consulting role for about a year and a half back in the Silicon Valley. So I do have some tie-ins with tech. And then I also have had 3 of my own businesses. And I would say that the skills that translated really well to product management are, in terms of the hard skills, like knowledge of various platforms, for example, product management and project management tools like Notion, ClickUp, Trello, all of those things I had experience with. And that is just because of my own personal interest in those things. I've never had a job where they were required, but I did use them in order to organize myself for my studies as well as for my businesses. The other skills I would say are more so soft skills. So for example, experience in management and leadership roles. I have had a team of over 12 people that worked for Accepted Consulting back in 2022. So I had some management experience. I also know how to do, market analysis. I know how to write sales copy on a sales page for a website. I know how to build websites. I would say that for this job, it was less so about the actual hard skills and more so about the mindset and soft skills that I had developed in having my own businesses and having the ability to work within a team structure. And so I think one thing that disadvantages a lot of academics that are moving from academia into tech is that they often work solo, especially if you're in the humanities. Getting experience working in teams, for example, like working on research projects where you do have to interact with a variety of people, that is really helpful for your CV. It also helps you transition into tech where it is that you're going to have to work on a fairly large team. The other thing about my experience and skills as a researcher is, I would say, the ability to manage a variety of things at any given time, but also to just dig a little bit further than others might. I'm very curious. I really like product development. And I would say that my academic experience is probably less important than my experience having built businesses. I would say that played the bigger role in me landing this particular job. If you are in academia and you are wanting to get into tech, the 2 things that I would recommend that you do is get experience working in teams, having some kind of management opportunity, and secondly, networking like crazy. I need to do a full video on networking, but if you haven't seen it, I did a podcast episode with Ali months and months and months ago. I will go ahead and link it in the description. You can go ahead and watch that because that is one, I talk about like how I landed that role, how I've landed other roles in the past. That is all purely based on networking and methods of networking. So I highly recommend checking that out. I will make a video on it later, but in terms of skills that I possess that made it possible to get this role, I would say the ability to manage teams, to work with product management, technology, to perform market analysis, some experience with marketing. Those were things that I think played the biggest role in my ability to transition into tech. But I would love to make a video on how to transition from humanities degrees to tech careers because it's something that I've always wanted to work in. I've always wanted to work in tech. I grew up in the Silicon Valley after all, and so it's a very fitting job. I'm going to go ahead and begin work in preparation for a meeting I have later today. We need to work on the offer for Productivity Lab, so I'm going to do a little bit of market analysis. I'm also going to go into Alex Hormozi's $100 million offers, which is a really great book if you are thinking about how it is to create a, customer needs driven product. So I'm gonna grab that, keep on working. Okay, we're taking a small break because I got a package in the mail and I want to open it. I'm pretty sure I know what this is, and it's very exciting. Oh, I'm so excited. This is from Chelbury. And these are these boots that I've had my eye on for a little while. As a horse girl, I have often not seen the value in buying boots that are not functional. However, oh my goodness, they sent me such a nice little note. We hope you enjoy your new Dorchester boots. Your support means the world to us. We would love to see how you style them. Please tag us in your photos. Incredible. Oh my gosh, these are so beautiful. Look at that. So I've often just bought riding boots, but I decided that the riding boots should stay at the barn. That it'd be nice to have a nice pair of boots to wear around the city. And these are so beautiful. I was slightly influenced because I'm kind of obsessed with this one content creator, or more so fashion influencer. Her name's Lydia Millen. And she had a pair of these boots in black, and I just became a little obsessed. So let's see how they fit. Oh my gosh, they fit perfectly. And they're so pretty. They are a tiny bit tight in the toe, but that is because I have really big feet and they're just gonna need a little bit of breaking in. But these are so beautiful. The other thing about riding boots is that I would have to break them in and basically like crack the ankle. When I have riding boots, there's always lines through here because of, you know, the actual act of riding. And so I like that these have this really sleek look and that they're not gonna get the same kind of creases, because when you're riding, you're putting a lot of pressure in the heel, and so you're bending the toe up. And so there's always these creases here and here, but hopefully these should remain after they've been broken up a little bit. So there's a couple different tactics for breaking in boots. For example, using rubbing alcohol on boots and then wearing them. You could also use like a hair dryer in order to get them to expand, so you can stuff like socks in them and then use like a hair dryer to warm up the leather before putting them on. I've also done like the hot water technique. There's a bunch of different ways you can do it. So these are beautiful, and they also have a really beautiful crest up here at the top. So I'm very excited to wear these. I'm very excited to style these, especially because they would work so well with what I'm wearing right now. And then we have a little order from Waterstones. Post-election, I just decided that I wanted to read a bunch of literature that centers female rage. This is The Grace Year by Kim Liggett. Says, no one speaks of the grace year, it's forbidden. We're told we have the power to lure grown men from their beds, make boys lose their minds, and drive the wives mad with jealousy. That's why we're banished for our 16th year, to release our magic into the wild before we're allowed to return to civilization. But I don't feel powerful, but I don't fear, God damn it. But I don't feel powerful, I don't feel magical. This is one that was on a list along with things like The Handmaid's Tale, The Bell Jar. I really wanted to check it out. So I ordered this a couple weeks ago and it took a while for it to arrive. So this is going on the TBR. And now it is time to jump back into work. We're currently working on launching Allie's website, which includes the sales pages for things like Productivity Lab and Part-Time YouTuber Academy and all of that. So I'm gonna jump on and help out Dan and continue on with the day, and then I'll answer more of your questions this afternoon. I did get one that I wanna answer, but I need to jump into this meeting. I have had lunch. I have also been working on the learning objectives for the LifeOS course. So basically just trying to break down what the student will get out of each individual lesson and why it is that they should go through it. Now I'm going to answer some of your questions. Let's see. We've got, do you have a ton of meetings and is it typical 9 to 5 or do you get to be flexible with hours? So I think that any project manager or project manager's role is going to be different depending on the company. For me, I have one full day of meetings per week. So Tuesday, basically from the moment I log on to the moment I log off from 9 to 5, I'm on calls. I have a little bit less than I did when I was community manager, because when I was community manager for Productivity Lab, I was responsible for managing the coaches directly, whereas now I only have one direct report, which is Geo, and then Geo manages the coaches, and then I help support her with managing the coaches. So I don't have one-on-one calls with them, but I do attend the team meetings and such in order to help refine what direction the product is heading in, get their collective ideas, because they're the ones that are more immersed in the community. And because my role has changed a little bit, I began by managing Productivity Lab, and in the new year I'll be managing Productivity Lab Part-Time YouTuber Academy and any future products that are kind of under the 1K mark. It is a quote-unquote 9 to 5. However, because Ali is based in the UK and because I'm currently finishing a PhD and also have my own business and own channels and stuff, I do have a slightly flexible schedule insofar as I still work full time, but I adjust the hours a little bit in order to meet, you know, the needs of my team, but also the needs of all the other things I have in my life. So for example, I started the working day at 7 a.m., had my meeting with Ali until about 9, and then I had work that I did from 9 to 10, and then I did a little bit of content work and other work between like 10:30, and then I was working in meetings and whatnot from about 10:30 to 12, and then I took a 20-minute lunch break, and now I'm doing more project work. I have a meeting at 1. That's kind of the cadence of today. It's a little bit of everything, and I'll take a little bit of a pause between meetings in order to do a hour-long dissertation sprint. Each day kind of has to adapt based on what the team needs, but because I don't have as many kind of direct management responsibilities, it has reduced the amount of times that I'm in meetings. Somebody asked, am I paid in American dollars? No, I am paid as a British employee. So I have my visa to be in the UK. And so because Ali Abdaal is a UK-based company, I am paid in British pounds. And the third question that I'll answer is, what do you mean by tech? And can you please define it? So basically anything that is actually developing a digital product that can be sold online. In the traditional sense, a tech job would be software, it would be applications, it could also be technological hardware. So if you worked for Apple or if you worked for Google or something, so you might have a physical product that you're working on, you might be working on a software, and for us, we're building out digital experiences. We also have a developer that we work with in order to develop applications that would fit nicely with the other types of like community and course-based products that we're developing in the background. So tech is kind of a loose term, but it is primarily focused on the development of technological software, hardware, or digital products of some kind. That includes, for example, the online community that we run through Circle. We have the Part-Time YouTuber Academy that is hosted on Circle. Productivity Lab is also hosted on Circle. You could work for Circle, in which case you'd also be working for a different type of tech company, because that's an actual hosting platform. So that is a software-based company, whereas we are a company that is also developing software while simultaneously benefiting from the software of other tech companies. It's kind of confusing, but essentially I say that I work in tech because I am working with the developers. We are working on digital platforms, and we are thinking about, you know, the future of the Ali Abdaal brand, the Ali Abdaal product suite, and that is what I am involved in. So those are the answers to the questions that I have for now. I'll answer a little bit more later. And now what I'm doing is actually using my own GPT that I built in ChatGPT based on my notes and other things that I've developed for the LifeOS course. And I'm trying to draft learning objectives. I am not trained as copywriter. I have done a lot of copywriting because of my own businesses, but it's not something that I have a ton of experience in. So I get kind of a first draft of the copy, and then we send it off to our copywriters or our head of growth, which is Gareth. So this is just the kind of first stab at things, but I need to develop the learning objectives for the actual course outline and curriculum, and it helps me to have a little bit of a back and forth with AI since I work remotely and I don't have anybody else to bounce this off of. So I might as well use the technology that we have at our disposal. And then I have a meeting in about 20 minutes. So I'm going to play around with this for a bit, and then I will come back and check in later and answer more questions. Just got out of the meeting. We're going to get back together at 3 o'clock to continue discussing the offer. What did we discuss in this meeting? We are currently working on revamping the offer for Productivity Lab. So an offer is essentially what features a student or a customer receives by purchasing a thing. What we've been struggling a little bit with Productivity Lab is trying to decide, like, is it a course? Is it a community? Is it a membership? Having an idea of what it is that we wanted it to be at the beginning. But I came in, I think 2 weeks before we launched the thing. So there's just a lot that needs to be worked out, and there's just quite a few kinks that we're trying to figure out what would be the highest value to the student, to the member, and trying to decide, like, is the co-working element the most high value? Is it the access to Ali? Is it the training? So for example, I would offer like a monthly training and Q&A, things of that nature. We still haven't come up with a solution. So what we're going to do is the team and I are going to get back together in about 20 minutes for a brainstorm. So we're taking a little bit of a break. And since we have about 20 minutes break, I'm going to go ahead and answer another question. How did I find my job, and is it fully remote? So I found my job because Ali posted it on his Instagram. And at the time I was really struggling with deciding whether I was going to stick with my PhD or not, and honestly worrying about what my career after my PhD was going to look like. And he had posted a job for a community manager. I have led online communities. I, co-own Accepted. I've helped other business owners create online communities. I just felt like I was a really good fit for the job, and I had to submit, a full application with a CV, a letter. I also had to submit a video. The position was also fully remote, but I knew that a lot of Ali's team were based in the UK, so that was appealing to me. I kind of put the application in on a whim. It wasn't that I was really needing a job at the time. I was just open to the idea. Now here we are. So it is a fully remote position. However, the team all has access to WeWork, so we do co-work sometimes in person. I think I'll probably actually go hang out with a bit of the team tomorrow, which will be nice. It is nice having the flexibility of being fully remote, but I do miss actually being able to go in and see people. So try to take advantage of the WeWork membership and all of that, so that way I'm not just working from home all the time. The other question that I got was, did you have to take a skills test to be hired? What type of test was it and what skills are needed? No, I did not take any particular type of skills test because I'm in a product management role rather than a product development role. I am mostly focused on, doing the market research, developing the offer, developing the product itself, orchestrating and helping the operations team know what they need to do. I go to the customer success team, which includes Geo, the community manager, and the coaches, in order to make sure that the delivery and the support of the students and the customers is well handled. So it's more of a leadership role, and it does require quite a lot of creativity and research and things of that nature, but it's kind of the perfect amalgamation of all the things that I find interesting. I really like being able to talk about the offer and be able to kind of figure out what the customer needs and what it is that they're struggling with and how it is that we identify solutions for them. So that is a little bit more about my job. I'm gonna take a 20-minute break and then come back for this brainstorm, so that way hopefully we can have a new offer written up by end of day, so that way Ali can review it when he's back in the morning. It is the end of the working day. It was a very, very long day and had a really great meeting with the team to discuss the offer. I think we're probably about 75% on the way there. I don't feel like we've entirely nailed it yet, but we're closer. The thing that we kind of have to decide is this an offer about taking action? Is it more of a content-based product? So when you're building online communities or digital courses, it's trying to figure out what the customer journey is going to be like and what it is that they're going to get out of it and what their solution is. And that's much easier when you have a really set idea of who you're marketing to. So for example, Accepted Society is for students, researchers, and professional academics. And that includes, undergrads as well as graduate students. We have a lot of graduate students. We also have a lot of mature and non-traditional students. We are a community that really caters to offering that sense of support and belonging. That is a very different sell than if you are trying to sell to a much broader audience that doesn't have a unifying identity. So trying to figure that out. We'll continue focusing on it tomorrow. We have a bunch of meetings tomorrow. Tuesday is my big meeting day, but I'm gonna try to wrap up soon because I still need to shower, wash my hair, and have plenty of time to unwind and read, but I wanna get this YouTube video out for tomorrow. So I'm just gonna quickly do a run through of this, add the sponsored message, and get that uploaded. My editor does about 90% of the edit, but I go back through, see if I like the music, see if I like the pacing, and then I add the sponsored bits. So it is much more efficient than it used to be, but it's still requiring a bit of my own input. So I'm gonna do a little bit of this, take a shower, get in bed, read my book, and try to set myself up for success for tomorrow. Hello friends, good morning, or should I say good afternoon. I had a 7 a.m. meeting with my manager this morning and have had calls basically all day, and am about to get into another call in about 3 minutes. And I was going to answer a question because somebody asked, what are the first 3 things that I do at the start of the day? So first and foremost, I check in on Slack, see if there's any messages that I need to go through, and I do a morning check-in. This is something that we instituted for all of my team. Basically, everybody does like a little pulse check in the morning, says how they're doing, says what they're prioritizing that day, what it is that they're doing to level up. So for example, in the company, one thing that is valued is leveling up by, reading and taking courses and things in order to improve in your role. So I wrote those down. I try to spend the first 30 or so minutes of the day doing that leveling up work. So whether that's like watching a specific YouTube video that Ali has recommended to those of us that work on product. I also try to do some work on growth, so thinking about marketing. Then the third thing that I tend to do is jump straight into deep work, depending on what is priority that day. For example, today it's the offer. Yesterday I started with the Life OS course. So whatever is the main priority project for the day, I will go ahead and do like a nice little deep work sprint. And sorry if this is distracting. I've had a lot of meetings today and I'm feeling just a little flustered and anxious. And so I've decided that instead of scrolling on my phone between meetings, that I would knit. So I'm gonna jump into my meeting and I will see you guys in a bit. I only have 10 minutes between now and my next call, and I have had a little bit of lunch. I'm having another little bit of snack, and I'm gonna do some reading. I'm a little overwhelmed. There's a lot of information to process, especially on Tuesdays, because that's the day that we have all of our meetings, and I just need to take a minute. And so I'm reading Metal Slinger, and I'm just gonna take a few minutes to myself to have a snack, read my book, and decompress. We have come to the end of the working day. I ended up doing a live study with me session. I haven't done one of those in quite a while, but I needed to just focus and get some reading done on my dissertation. I have a big kind of writing block that I'm going to do tomorrow, and just needed to give me some fuel by going to the literature and specifically looking at some primary sources. Now it is time for me to go ahead and end today's video. So I hope that you enjoyed this slight behind the scenes look at what it's like to be a product manager at a tech company and see a little bit more of what I get to do on the day-to-day in my day job. I normally focus on my work as a PhD student and, you know, my business, Accepted Society, but I wanted to show you a little bit more of the in-depth look at what it is that I do at Abdaal. So I hope that you enjoyed, and also enjoyed getting the slight Q&A format. I'm going to incorporate that into more of the Vlogmas vlogs. So if you want to stick around and you are not yet subscribed, then remember to hit the subscribe button as well as the bell notification so you're notified next time that I post, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, friends.